Hello, dear friends. President Trump shouts first and negotiates later. When he gets angry, he looks like a madman. But when he negotiates, he has common sense. His detractors only see his madness, but not his common sense. He looks like an angry madman, but he is a combined pacifist with a few buts. As the saying goes, save me, Lord, from calm waters, for I can handle the rough ones on my own. Opinion piece. Future is today. Disruptive changes. Happy Chinese New Year. New moon in Aquarius. Radical transformation. Strange days coming. Renewal and regeneration. Freedom of speech effect. Trump says Europe is as bad as China. Year of the snake to get rid of negative energy. Trump bans chemical and surgical mutilation of minors. Let's start. What we call the future is now at the quantum level, says JFK Jr. The illusion of time was created by the Draconians as ultimate control, installed at the highest level. It is designed to control your every freedom, regulated by the seconds of the clock, by the minutes and the hours, by the traffic lights, the stop signs, and the layout of the cities. A repetitive design everywhere, intended to keep your creative freedom confined to its system. A world without power lines and telephone poles, replaced by free wireless energy from Nikola Tesla, spaceships and spaceports, outdated therapeutic practices replaced by violet ray technology, intergalactic travel between the stars, into infinite possibilities through our stargates and secret space program wormhole technologies. Reality is not what you thought. The Matrix was a documentary. The storm is upon us. The new moon in Aquarius represents freedom and liberation. Free your mind and your freedom will follow. Aquarius reminds you to follow the beat of your own drum. Be unique and original like a proud geek. This is a giant green light from the universe. You are ready to be who you were born to be. You are ready to rise in your divine power and shine your light. Chinese New Year. On Wednesday, January 29th, the lunar New Year of the Wood Snake began to get rid of negative energy, kicking off more than 2 weeks of celebrations, customs, and abundant feasts around the world. The snake is expected to bring transformation and new beginnings, and its frequency is one of renewal and regeneration. The holiday, also known as the Spring Festival, celebrates the arrival of spring and the beginning of a new year according to the Chinese calendar. Although the snake may have a bad reputation in many Western cultures, the animal is actually a celebrated and revered saint throughout the Eastern Hemisphere, and its year is expected to be one of positive transformation, as people step into new beginnings, if they are willing to follow through. In Taoism, wood is a sign of returning to the natural state or true nature, while in Confucianism it symbolizes becoming a more refined person. In Buddhism, it is associated with letting go of the old in order to grow. The wood snake has very different characteristics than other snakes. First, wood snakes typically live in trees. They coil around branches and watch from above, where the animals live, taking stock of the earth from a higher vantage point. This will give us a channel this year to see things from a broader, higher perspective. We have been so focused on our own story, on our own narrative, and our own path. Turning into the higher truths of creation and the bigger picture is like taking an etheric sedative. Speech freedom. New White House press rules will expand access to new media voices. Independent journalists and content producers are encouraged to apply for admission to press briefings. Trump's fight against online censorship quickly goes global. On January 20th, surrounded by some of the big tech executives, those whose companies had suppressed the views of his supporters during his predecessor tenure, President Trump declared that the days of such speech control were over. The surprising effect of freedom of speech freedom, according to Saratoga Ocean. It's a very strange feeling, because my body and mind are so trained to be careful and cautious with the words I write and say, especially because I speak in public. It has taken its toll on me to speak in code, to speak without reference to certain things and not be able to address them. Now, not everything is perfect. This is because the controllers of the rest of the world feel threatened by what is happening in the US for obvious reasons. They don't want this speech freedom to extend to their territory. It seems that in other countries, politicians only want to make things worse for their citizens by taking harsher measures than ever before. This week has been politically crazy, but also practically crazy. It's quite possible that Trump could ruin the plans of the controllers, because they cannot carry out their global madness without the US joining them. The old system of control are crumbling, and this creates an unprecedented window of opportunity for human liberation. A hidden path to freedom will open in 2025. Economy. Biden leaves office with record trade deficit in December. Senate confirms Scott Bessent as Treasury Secretary. Trump slams Fed for failing to stop the problem they created themselves. Powell saves markets from hawkish Fed statement, but corporate collapse resumes. Bank of Canada cuts rates, says tariffs could stoke inflation. Truth Terminal has become the first AI millionaire by promoting the cryptocurrency it was gifted, according to Sultan Istvan. Microsoft's Q2 cloud revenue misses expectations, sending stocks tumbling. Trump says Microsoft in talks to buy TikTok. Chinese New Year could fuel 20% rush in Bitcoin price. Tesla reports $600 million Bitcoin profit jump after digital asset rule change. X22 report. Trump is shutting down money laundering by restructuring the Fed. Jerome Powell will try to fight back, and those at the top will try everything. Commercial ships return to the Red Sea as Gaza truce holds. A strange day is coming, says Mark Chaikin, who predicted the market crash in 2020. A new, massive and surprising transition that could determine the next great wave of wealth. USA. Trump plans to withdraw US troops from Syria. The Davos Forum plans to sabotage RFK Jr.'s nomination as Secretary of Health. Air Force Academy drops diversity and inclusion status. Pentagon to investigate General Mark Milley, possibly demote him. Trump executive order bans chemical and surgical mutilation of minors. Judge blocks Trump's order to freeze aid and federal loans. A protester patent for January 6th says he has proof that the police incited the riots at the Capitol. The great purge of the Department of Justice continues. The acting Attorney General fires en masse the lawyers who persecuted Trump. Trump announces the immediate construction of an Iron Dome anti-missile defense shield. Migration. Japan is not beating around the bush. Mass deportations begin. Trump orders the Pentagon to prepare 30,000 beds in Guantanamo for illegal immigrants who commit crimes. The Trump administration is preparing an agreement with El Salvador to deport immigrants. According to Poet Dog, the US is the cultural mecca of the middle class and the poor, huddled masses looking to move up a few ranks. Places like Monaco, parts of Switzerland, Singapore, and certain island nations are the place for people at the top who want to avoid being harassed by the lower classes, and those who aspire to move up. Crown colonies and Europe are begging places to immigrate because of social services. In Europe, the European Central Bank will cut rates again in the face of divergence with the US. Czech central bank boss wants to buy billions of bitcoins for reserves. Tesla sues Brussels over tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. More than 60% of Britons consider Brexit failure. Denmark changes its tune and allows Russia's Gazprom to repair damaged oil pipeline. President Trump says the European Union is possibly as bad as China, only smaller. Trump and Secretary Rubio ignore the EU, focusing on bilateral relations with countries. Typhoon Trump causes panic in Brussels as the doomsday clock comes closer than ever to the apocalypse, according to Sorchafal. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.